Greetings, everyone. Greetings. Welcome to another episode of yours truly. All right, right now I'm going to take you on a brief house tour so that you can get the live experience of this home. So I'm going to walk you towards the foyer area, which is going to be the entryway for this house. Okay, everybody. We're going to take you. What's good, Lonesome Dove? Nice to see you in the building. I've been in and out here so much, taking video footage, just capturing videos for social media. You're taking notes? Okay. All right. Really, it's all about who you know in real estate, okay? Just so you know that. It's about who you know. People have to be ready, willing, and able to purchase. Um, so they can't be struggling with credit. They can't be struggling with debt to income ratio. They can't be struggling saying they don't have money saved up. You said I'm your inspiration. All right, so this is, well, thank you. This is outside. This is the neighborhood. I'm just going to show you around a little bit without giving too much of the location because people are crazy. But this is the outside of the home. All right. This is the outside of the home, everybody. It is a ranch style all brick home, and it's got like it's a two-car garage, um, and I'm gonna take you inside and show you around. Okay, so just a second. Thank you for joining the live stream, Lonesome Dove. So you would like to see a tour of this home, so I'm gonna show you a tour of the home. All right, let me show you what it looks like right here. So right here you do have like a covered porch area. Okay, and the exterior is made of brick, so it's a pretty sound home. This is what it looks like, okay? All right, let's take you inside, y'all. All right, now for he said, how would I present a home to a potential client? So anyway, and inside, I lock the door, okay, for security purposes. I like to be able to see who's coming in and out, and if they come in without my knowledge, they're gonna have to ring the doorbell. And always, ladies, okay, keep protection with you. Bring that heat everywhere you go. All right. And then also, you can bring people with you to your open house. You don't have to do it alone. You can have guests with you as well. Well, let me go ahead and show you this house. So, this is going to be bedroom number one right here. Bedroom number one is right here. This is just a regular size room. Okay. It appears to be like a 10 by 10, and it does have a closet right here, the double closet doors. Looks like they could potentially work from home, or they like to play video games and they have their little computer space set up there. All right. And then over here, you're going to have access to the full size bathroom right here. Tucked in this little crevice, you're going to see back there, there's a linen closet behind this door. So people, if they come, they visit, if they're in this guest bedroom, they'll have access to this full size bathroom right here. Over here, we're going to have bedroom number two. Now, bedroom number two feels to me to be slightly bigger. I don't know if it's the way the actual furniture is situated, but I did print out a square footage sheet for the home, so then I will know exactly which room is bigger, and I can share that with y'all later. I'm not near it right now. And then you also get the double doors for your closet, but it looks like they do some printing in here as well as in my room. I have like a printer as well. And here it looks like they have a little refrigerator right there. All right, so over here they have created a drop zone area for themselves. Tucked in there is probably where you put your shoes or whatever things that you bring in from outside and hang your jackets and things of such. Over here is going to be your closet area, okay? I'm not going to open it because their things are still in here. Um, so this is actually the area right here where you can have opportunity to eat, convene with guests and hosts, for whatever dinners you may have. This is like the dining area, everybody. And then, of course, over here, we're going to have a breakfast nook area. Okay. This is your breakfast nook area. You can actually seat 4 people right here at this table if you choose to do so. You do get a lot of windows in this house, which is something that I can definitely appreciate. One, two, three windows right here in this space. As you can see, they do have a cat, which is in the garage, so I'm not going to open that space. The cat is having issues leaving the house, but they do have a dog as well, so they took the dog with them. Now, in here, over here is going to be your kitchen area, as you can clearly see. This backsplash is kind of made into the wall area. I don't know if they, it looks like they did this themselves, but that looks really nice. Okay, if you like that design pattern. Now, I for one would say that this doesn't necessarily match. Like I wouldn't have gone with this with that. It clashes to me, but nonetheless, this is the kitchen area. And if you're wondering, this home was built in 2022. Again, this home was, I'm sorry, it was built in 2011. My apologies. This home was built in 2011, okay? So that's what you're seeing. This is the laundry area. Does feature, your laundry space right here. And then you have your shelving up top. Now, when you come through the garage area outside, you're going to land right through this area right here. So say you back your cars up. This is the area that you'll come into, which is the laundry area. That's going to bring you through the kitchen area. All right, so if you have groceries, this is where you would be coming in. All right, now I'm going to take you around to the living space, which you can see this is a very open concept, which a lot of people do appreciate that. You probably hear my music in the background because I play music at my open houses to set the ambiance so that it's not so quiet in here. But yes, you do get a built-in fireplace right there. The great thing about this house, and you get a ceiling fan. The great thing about this house, y'all, the HOA actually covers your internet, your cable, your yard maintenance, and the trash. So this is a ranch style home. And again, here you see the windows. Make sure y'all like the video if you enjoy the tour. These are the windows here. It's a lot of light that comes in, and that's something that I can appreciate. You see that there are sliding glass doors for the patio right here, and you don't have to worry about getting this paved because it's already done for you. So it's a lot of room and a lot of space back here if you want to entertain as well. So that's that. All right. And it looks like they are into music and into their pets. Now, let's take you into the primary ensuite. Okay, we don't say master bedroom anymore because it has a slave connotation. This is primary ensuite. So in here you have tray ceilings, and then you also have four large size windows in here as well so that you can look outside at your own leisure. So a large bed can fit in here very comfortably. The kitty cat has its own bed as well. All right, so I'm just going to pan around so you can get a feel for what this bedroom looks like and what the space is like in here. Right here is going to be your primary ensuite bathroom. So you get the double vanity sinks here with the ceramic countertops. All right, standalone shower and a soaking tub is separate. And then above the soaking tub, you're going to have a window situated right there, as well as extra lighting up above, okay? So that's what this looks like. That's what this bathroom looks like, everybody. All right, that's me. So just turn it around, say hi to you all. How y'all doing? Hey, Kaluminati, how are you? Nice to see you in the building. I hope you're enjoying this tour with me. This home is going for $455,000. That is the asking price. Um, the property, where is it located? It is located not too far from one of the lakes out here, uh, which is very conveniently located for people that enjoy getting on boat rides. If you like taking your boat out, if you like being on the lake, this property is near the lake. So, very conveniently located, you all. Again, the house was built in 2011 and it has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,828 square feet of space. Um, Hold on one second. I'm gonna set this phone down for a minute. Hold on, y'all. I forgot to bring my camera stand. Okay, I'll take this out for a second. All right, forgot to bring my camera stand. So yes, if you like this home, give this video a thumbs up. Tell me what you thought about the home tour. Um, do you think this home is worth 455,000? Do you think it's not worth the price that it is? Um, 1,828 square feet of space. And I think it looks pretty good. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. So yeah, that is what's going on today. We're at this open house, everybody. Just showing y'all around and trying to give you some more information on the home. Like I said, the HOA covers your cable, it covers your trash, it covers your yard maintenance, and it covers your internet. Okay, so it's low maintenance and it's our all ranch style home. So if you know anybody that may be looking, um, this might be the home for them. If this is in their budget. I gotta say this: interest rates. It's 3 bedrooms, Illuminati. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. What would you make on a sale like this if you don't? So it depends on what the um, seller's agent is paying. And then if you are paying the commission for the buyer's agent as well. So I would say normally 3% of whatever the purchase price is. And then if you have real estate or broker fees that come out of that. So it depends on what your split is with your firm. So take 455,000 and multiply that by 0.03, okay? And do the math on that. And then you would also have to factor in the fees. Like for our firm, we have an administration fee, and our office also takes a split from that. I don't know why my music turned off just now. Let me check on this, y'all. Let's see. Oh, it's buffering because I'm having connectivity issues on my other phone. It says my other phone ran out of data, y'all. Even though I just renewed the freaking subscription. That is very annoying, but it is what it is. So I wanted to go live on this phone because I feel like it has a stronger connection. So I'm trying to set this up because I forgot my little stand, my phone stand, y'all. But yeah, so how's everybody doing? Heute ist Sonntag. I'm going to be out here for a little bit longer, about an hour and a half, and then I'll be able to leave and go. And ich bin hungrig. Mir is hungrig. So I'm going to go get me something to eat probably as soon as I leave here. The weather is very nice, you all. The weather is about 70 some degrees today. It's going to be pretty warm. So I didn't want to overdress. I didn't want to underdress. I wanted to be comfortable, have my walking shoes on, everything like that. Um, so what did y'all think of the house tour? Guten Morgen, Scott Petrie. How are you? Nice to see you in the building. Did y'all like the house tour? And this is my open house sheet that I get people to fill out, everyone. So I want to get your feedback on the price of the home. Do you think 455,000 is sufficient? What do you think about the location? What do you think about the condition of the home? Floor plan, curb appeal, overall rating of the home? 1 on the low end, 5 on the high end. Let me get your name, phone number, and contact information. Okay. Are you looking to buy or sell anytime soon? And what did you like most about the home and what did you like least about the home? So as we collect this information, we can follow up better with the clients. So that's pretty much it, y'all. Is it in Atlanta? No, it's not in Atlanta. Are you in Atlanta, Illuminati? Are you in Atlanta? Are you located in Atlanta? And how's everybody's day going so far? I feel like I'm out early. This is pretty early, y'all. You're in Dallas? Everybody's in freaking Dallas. My friend and I did a live stream last night and she's in Dallas. This is craziness. You're driving, Lonesome Dove? Are you near Oak Cliff? Where are you located in Dallas? Because Dallas is kind of big. Memphis, North Memphis, North Memphis. Hey, shout out to 3 6 and Project Pat. Scott Petrie said he's in Memphis, Tennessee. Is everything good in Memphis, Scott? Everything safe and kosher in Memphis? Because I know like these ICE agents are running amok in these major cities. They hit Chicago, I think yesterday or the recently, and they ended up shooting a lady. Um, they're claiming that this woman tried to ram her car into the ICE agents. I don't know how true that is. Northeast Memphis, 38122. Okay, Northeast. North Memphis. Okay, gotcha. Interesting, y'all. All right. National Guard is here? Really? So, do y'all have a curfew or like what are they doing? Because if I recall correctly, when COVID hit, they actually were shooting rubber bullets at people in Pennsylvania. I don't know if y'all remember that or not, but I remember I had some footage of that on my channel. I hope y'all be careful, be safe out there, y'all. Whatever you do, don't go in those streets, don't go protesting. Yeah, because we don't want anything happening to y'all. And be real safe and careful, please. I should go to the car and talk to y'all. I might take y'all to the car. All right. All right, I'm gonna go to the car and talk to y'all. All right, so just a moment. So I can easily see if anybody pulls up over here. Um, I'll be able to see from here. Okay. Now I can talk to y'all. I don't really want to talk too much in the house, y'all, because hold on, I'll tell you in a second. I don't want to talk too much in the house, y'all, because you know, they be having cameras and stuff, like in the houses, and you don't want to say anything incorrectly, and then they're listening and they hear it. You don't know what type of devices people have in their homes, so I just figured I'd just come to the car and talk to y'all directly like this. Keep this car door open because it's hot in here. I should have let the windows down. But yeah, y'all make sure y'all be safe out there. Don't go out there protesting. I saw yesterday, well, last night, there were protesters out there in was it where did they shoot that lady? Was it Chicago where that happened? I think it was in Chicago. And I mean, you're out there with bullhorns, but you don't have on a bulletproof vest. You don't have gas masks. You don't have any tactical gear or anything. So I think that I'm just watching these cars, y'all. So, you don't have any tactical gear, so you want to be real careful. Thank you, Illuminati. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You said you gotta go. Well, I understand. Um, it's just crazy what's going on, but like with real estate, I will say that interest rates have dropped slightly. So I'm hoping that interest rates will go down some more for people so that they can have more affordability for their houses because what people have been paying is like they can't afford like the house that they are getting in today's market is not going to be the same as what they could have gotten like in 2020 to 2022. That's when the interest rates were at an all-time low. So they could afford a larger house, maybe in a, more desired location. But now that same home that they could have gotten then it's probably doubled, now. Thank you. You have a blessed day as well, Illuminati. So that's pretty much what real estate is doing at this juncture. House prices are definitely going up. They're not lowering. So if you're thinking about waiting, I would tell you my best advice is if you qualify now and you want a house, go ahead and go for it. Don't wait because the longer you wait, the more the house price is going to go up. Now I know people be like, "Well, I want to wait for the interest rates to drop and to go down." You can do that, but at the same time, house prices are still going to progressively go up while you're waiting for a lower interest rate. You said you're definitely waiting for the drops. My rent is cheap here. Understand that if you pay cheap rent, what you're paying for rent, you're not going to pay for a mortgage. A lot of people get things misconstrued, and I wish I could play my other phone some things that I was looking at yesterday when people start talking about renting versus mortgages. Now, I want you to think about if, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, I want you to think about an imaginary bank account. So every time you pay your mortgage, it's like you're putting money into like an imaginary bank account that exponentially grows. That's what equity is called. So that's how equity works in your house. Um, when you pay rent, we already know that you're not going to ever get that money back, right? A lot of people will say they regret purchasing because they didn't do proper research. And that's why you hear a lot of people saying to other people, don't do it. It was a disaster for me. And a lot of times, what I find is that they were just misinformed because I don't know if their realtor informed them on things they should have known about or they just tried to do it themselves. I heard one lady say that she bought a house without a realtor, and I don't think that's a good decision to make, especially if you're doing it for the first time, unless you really know what you're doing. Because like people will start complaining that after they moved in their house, especially if it's not new construction, but you can still have issues even with new construction. So I would always advise you to get a home inspection regardless if it's new construction or not. That's what I did when I got my house. I did have a realtor, and she basically informed me that she thought it was a good idea for me to get an inspection even if it was a brand new home, which I did. Thank God I did that because there were some things that they needed to address with the roof and the foundation, which they did do that. You can also get what's called a re-inspection. You can get a re-inspection done, and what this is to make sure that what they were supposed to correct in the inspection, that it was done correctly and that it was addressed. You do have to pay a fee for that. So it's worth it to protect your investment, because if you're going to be paying all this money every month on a large investment, then I would say paying $500 on an inspection is worth it because that's typically what an inspection costs. Um, Another thing that people are not taking into consideration when they purchase is they complain that if especially if the home is like a pre-built home, they start saying that when they moved in, they had all these repairs that they had to complete and things broke down. Well, most of the time, your realtor is going to ask you, would you like to purchase a home warranty? Now, it's up to you. You don't have to necessarily do that, but it is in good practice to do that for to protect your investment, because you think about buying a used car, if you're buying a used home, we know that nothing is perfect. No new car is perfect, right? That's why you have warranties for cars. And even if you have an older car and your car goes out of warranty, you can still purchase a warranty for your car. Same thing with your house. So when you purchase a warranty for your house, it covers things such as the pipe, the plumbing, the piping, the electricity, water heater, air conditioner, HVAC system, your appliances. So these are things that purchasing a home warranty can cover for you, and they are as low as $50 a month. And people negate to get these. I don't know why they don't. And then they start complaining that they had to pay all this money just to put repair money into the home or the house. Now, some sellers can actually gift you a home warranty, and usually they might do that for your first year. And that's just a gift from them to you to say thank you for buying our house. They don't have to do that. You said the prices will eventually drop. I believe they are highly inflated here. They have dropped in some states and cities. House prices are never going to go down, Scott. They're never going to go down. What you will see is that, so like this house is listed at $455,000 that I just showed y'all. If that house doesn't sell at 455 and it stays on the market for say 2 months, I'm pretty sure the buyers are probably going to want to get rid of this house because they're in the market to sell. They may say, "Hey, we'll take, $10,000 off the price of this house." So now it's at 445. But in the grand scheme of things, you think that that house price is dropping. That house is priced um according to what this neighborhood is selling for that house. So I would say about 4 to 5 years ago, that same house could have been selling for $300,000. You know, but it has acquired equity over time. So what you think is a drop in price is really just them decreasing the price on their home for what they're selling it for. It's really not a significant drop. But I understand when people say, oh, house prices are dropping because they see like a little slash and they see that the person took like $3,000 off or $5,000 off. It's kind of like what they do at the car dealerships. They really want to sell this car and it's not selling, so they'll take 1,000 off, 1,500 off, 2,500. But in the grand scheme of things, that car is still selling for like $30,000. Same thing with the house. So I think that's where people sometimes are a little misinformed. House prices are not going down. Real estate never goes down. It always goes up, So I'm pretty sure if I went back and pulled history on how many times this house sold, if they're not the original owners, it significantly has increased. So I wouldn't be surprised if this house didn't sell for like 250 back in 2011, and now it's selling for 455 or whatever they sell it for. But it's not going to fall too much. I can't see them selling this house for under $400,000. That's just not going to happen in this neighborhood, and especially with this area. So this is what real estate does for you, and I think that's when people get things misconstrued and they have a misunderstanding of real estate. It is growing exponentially and it is growing equity in the value of your home. This is why they say a lot of people that have ownership in houses, they actually have more wealth building, right? Because if you're taking your money and putting in it to rent every month, even though you think your rent is cheap, you're not getting a return on your investment, what they call ROI. Now, I know people do invest into stocks and they invest into Bitcoin and they do all of these things. And you can even put your money into a 401k. But how many years do you have to be on your job in order to be fully vested into your 401k? Some of these companies require you to be in that company for 5, maybe 7 years before you're fully vested. So that means if you leave your company, the money that went in and the money that they matched, you will not receive all of that money because you're not fully vested if you leave before your vesting time is up. Um, with a house, it's a little different. As long as you stay in that house within like 2 years, right? 2 years, you should see a return on your investment. So that's a lot faster than trying to grow a 401k and trying to save. And a lot of people think that if they get into a rental property and save their money, that they're outrunning or they're beating the market because they're waiting for prices to drop. A lot of times what happens is you put money into rent that you're never going to get back. But that person that lived in their house for 2 years and they go to sell their house, they're going to get tens of thousands of dollars back, if not more. So it really just depends on that neighborhood and how that equity is going, especially with new construction. You'll see this happen a lot. New construction, if you get in early, you can get the most equity that way because what normally happens in new construction, when they build that house, if you don't get in early when they start the very beginning of that development, you're going to pay more later down the line if you wait 6 months to a year. The same house that could have been $350,000, if you wait, it's going to be $400,000 in 6 months to a year. And that is just the reality of real estate. So a lot of people don't understand that. Um, House prices are not dropping. Now, when you will see that housing development, what they'll do is they will cut the price on that house a little bit. So even though you could have gotten in at 350, now you're paying 50,000 more 6 months later to a year later. If the house is not selling, what they will do is start slashing the price a little bit. Now they could even take 10,000 off the price of the home, but guess what? You're still paying 390 instead of paying 350. So you're still paying an extra 40,000 because you didn't get in earlier. So hopefully that makes sense. You said your investment indeed are in other things. My yearly interest pays for my rent and then some. I do agree in home ownership as an investment, but blight, blight and decline here is a concern. Okay. So I think what you're saying is that you are scared of the decline in the home value. A lot of that is going to depend on your neighborhood and the area. Remember, with real estate, everything is about location, location, location. And here's one thing that people don't know. If someone in your neighborhood, I don't care how affluent that neighborhood is, this can be even $1 million neighborhood. If someone in that section, in that development, in that neighborhood, on your street, if they file bankruptcy and they foreclose on their home, or just let's say they foreclose on their home, that impacts the value of all the homes around it, no matter what neighborhood. This is the same case for all neighborhoods. If one person forecloses, that impacts the value of all the homes around it. And that is just the way that it is, y'all. Making more sense to me. Okay, Memphis is sketchy. Well, it probably depends on what part of Memphis you move to. Okay, because we know that in these territories, especially in these large major cities, there's a such thing as redlining, which happened many years ago to melanated beings in particular, where redlining is done by the banks. So what they would do is they would redline a particular neighborhood. And this is why you see a massive wealth gap between the European neighborhoods, like, or the Europeans. Like, this is a predominantly all Caucasian neighborhood that I'm in right now. And what you're going to see in this neighborhood is really a representation of the redlining that I'm talking about. So more of the red line neighborhoods are like the low income neighborhoods. Um, they specifically did this to cut off melanated people from going to certain neighborhoods. So they would not give them loans, they would not let them qualify for certain loans. And then they actually had them stagnated into certain red line zones. You can actually go back and do some research. And actually, I'm going to do a live stream about that because I think it's very important that we know. Back in 1968, everybody, is when the Equal Housing Act was enacted. And the reason why they enforced that 57 years ago is because melanated beings, in particular, people of color, were not able to purchase real estate freely, just like they are, like they should be today, right? So today, you could get a melanated couple to come into this house and say, I'm interested, I want to put in an offer. But that was not the case in 1968 and before, right? That was not the case. So they enacted this Equal Housing Opportunity Act to give equal housing to everybody, to make it more of an equal playing field, even though that's still not the case today, right? Um, so, like I said, 57 years ago is not that long ago. And when it comes to real estate, what I do notice is that a lot of times melanated people, for some reason, they have like a negative connotation towards home ownership or purchasing. And I see it all across social media all of the time, but they're not understanding that it helps to build their wealth. You're going to get a lot more out of owning the home than versus renting all your life, because most people have said that they're perfectly fine with renting their entire lives because they don't want to deal with the maintenance of a house, which clearly I told you that that's why they have home warranties that you can purchase to help with the cost of some of these maintenance issues. Another thing is just the maintenance of your home, which means like power washing the house. As far as lawn care, now you can get a lawnmower and cut your own grass, or you can pay someone to come out and do it. These are things you have to think like a homeowner. The same way you have to think like a business owner, you have to think like a homeowner. So either you have, the mindset of a homeowner, or you have the mindset of a renter. Either you have the mindset of an employee, or you have the mindset of a business owner. So this is why I always say, remember to be the CEO of your financial future. What I mean by that, create economic ownership, CEO. Create economic ownership. Creating economic ownership, own real estate. I don't care if it's land, I don't care if it's residential, I don't care if it's commercial. And then also, outside of a W 2 regular employee job, you should have some type of business on the side so that if anything happens to that business, you have something else to fall back on. That's how I look at things. I don't know how other people look at stuff, but we have to really come out of that victimhood, that slave mentality that a lot of people have, taken on. Um, yeah. what is another thing? So there's also a such thing as steering, where a realtor or anybody within the real estate industry will steer melanated individuals to move to a certain location. That is against the law. That is, you're not supposed to do that. And this is nationwide. This is not just in one state. This is nationwide. There's also blockbusting. So trying to get someone not to move somewhere, or you're trying to get someone to move from a certain location based on race, ethnicity, and things of such. You cannot discriminate based on disability, familial status. It's supposed to be race, people's ethnic origins and backgrounds. That's not supposed to be a thing that's taking place. But we know that low key, it still goes on today. I actually had a realtor to reach out to me while I was just in this house, and my client was ready to put an offer in on this other house in another part of town. We actually had gone out there to look at the house. As soon as we were leaving, he stated that the house was under contract, and the house, in my personal opinion, was not under contract. This was about 2 weeks ago. So just earlier, he texted me and said, "Oh, basically, the house is on the market and it's about to expire in 90 days. Do you know anyone that's interested in the house?" My client already said she's not interested anymore because of the antics that he's pulling. And what they'll do is they'll get neighbors to spy on the house for them. I'm telling you, this is what goes on in real estate, y'all. They'll get their neighbors to spy on the house to see who's going to look at the house. And then that realtor will kind of know like who has been looking, and then they'll communicate with the sellers and then let them know, "Oh, they said they saw X, Y, and Z come to the house. How do you feel about that?" These are all the things they do. People have ring cameras on their doors so they can see who's coming in and out of the house. So if you think discrimination doesn't happen in real estate, you're sadly mistaken. It definitely does. You said you were a licensed electrician, plumber, and now you're a licensed commercial pesticide applicator, landscaper. I do a lot of oil field work. Okay, so it sounds like you are very busy. Being able to do electrician and plumbing work and all of that, and pesticide and landscape, that's very important to houses, like to the upkeep of a home. So if you can do all of that, you wouldn't have any problem at all. Finding work, having work, because there are people always needing those services, y'all. So that's the best thing that I can tell you about it, like home ownership and purchasing. You definitely want to make sure that you have 2 years of income unless you're paying with cash. Now, if you're paying with cash, you don't have to worry about it. But a lot of people don't have $400,000, $500,000, 300,000, 350, or whatever it is. So you do have to have 2 years of steady income, and that doesn't mean that you can't switch jobs within that time frame. That just means you need to have the income steady. So they're going to look at that. They're going to look at, did you file your taxes in the last 2 years? Because if you haven't, you need to do that. Now, when you look at the income, usually they want to see that it's all either 1099 or it's all W-2. If it's all 1099 or it's all W-2, they don't want to combine the two. Then they want to look at your credit score. Out here in this city, if you have a credit score, I'm going to say approximately of 640 and higher, you can qualify for down payment assistance for first-time homebuyers. And actually, for this program, you don't have to be a first-time homebuyer. You just can't have the house in your name when you qualify. Okay, so if you sold the house, you can actually qualify for this program, which the program does offer up to $100,000 and more. And it's stackable. There are 3 different programs, and you can stack these programs. All right. Another thing that they're going to look for is low debt to rate income. So, low debt to rate ratio income is basically you want to keep that at 45% or under. Some lenders I've heard can qualify you at 50% and higher, but I mean at 50%, but you don't want a high debt to rate ratio, and you don't want a high debt to ratio level of income. You want to keep that at, like, I would say 40 and under, 40% and under, because when you're making those mortgage payments and you're trying to pay everything else, it can be a lot. And then you want to have money for like down payment. Now you can get assistance with that. You want to have closing cost money. So like if you have a 401k or a 403b, because some people that work at the school, if you work for the county or the state, you'll have a 403b, which is a retirement savings for some of those people. They will let you pull from these things, so that you can have money for your home purchase. Um, Let me see. Those are the main things. I mean, it's really easy. To me, it was easy. So all you need to do is have those things to qualify for your home. And as far as everything else, like you just want to make sure you have your earnest money. Here we have a due diligence. Every state doesn't have due diligence, and what due diligence is the money that you pay for that seller to take the home off the market. You would write a check to them. That money is payable to them directly. It doesn't go to anybody else, because during the due diligence period is when you do your inspections. You want to make sure you're going to be able to secure your financing, and do all the things that you need to get done for that house, like the appraisals and stuff like that. And also, too, if you have, what's good, King Hazy? Nice to see you in the building. If you are a military veteran, I want to send a special shout out to the military veterans, because y'all have a 100% guaranteed loan. So you get some of the most advantageous loans that are out there. There's the FHA loan, which is actually funded by the federal government. Usually, first-time home buyers have the FHA loans, and it requires 3.5% of the purchase price. So that's what you're going to put down for the home. You said vets always get homes. They should, because they have some of the best loans out there. And then there's the USDA loan, which that is really for people like in rural areas. Now, I remember one of the realtors, she moved from Minnesota. She said, I thought that was a loan for farmers. I said, no, that is basically if you move in what's considered a rural area, and they can look at the maps and tell you if that home is considered to be in a rural location to qualify for a USDA loan. And then there is a conventional loan. A conventional loan is what most people have if they've already owned a home before, because usually they put 20% down with the conventional loan. Now, what that does is you have something called MIP, Mortgage Insurance Premium. You have that if you have an FHA loan. And then you have PMI, which is Private Mortgage Insurance. Okay. Um, if you pay your home down, so I think about 80%, you can have that PMI removed, but you have to call the mortgage company and ask them to remove it from your bill, okay, from your mortgage bill. And you should be able to get that done, y'all. Okay. And then the veteran loan, like I said, which is the most advantageous. So if you're a veteran out here, and that's one thing I never did really understand is why are so many of these veterans out here homeless, because they should be able to use their VA loans. They should be able to use their retirement checks and stuff like that to secure some type of housing for themselves. I don't know what's going on with that, y'all. But I definitely want to market more to the veterans out there, because one thing we know is veterans have secured financing for home loans, y'all. So if you know some veterans, please shorty swing my way. My last client that used his veteran loan, he actually got $1,000 back at the closing table. Shout out to my lender that also works with veteran loans. He purchased his house, and yeah, it was a very successful thing. I was very happy for him. He moved from New York. He was a first-time home buyer. So a lot of people don't purchase homes, until like the middle age, and I want to actually make it more normalized for people to start purchasing homes like in their 30s, in their 40s, even in your 20s if you're not too terrified. I can understand like if you're 18, 19, 20, you don't really want to, you don't want that commitment. I understand. But like I said, there are people that, I talked to somebody that's like 40, 44, I think, and I had spoken to him like 2, 3, 4 years ago about a home purchase. And what he said to me was, that's a commitment. I mean, that's a commitment. It's just that commitment. I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, well, I don't have a wife, I don't have children. So I think I see these townhomes, I'm just going to lease. And I'm trying to make him understand like what you're doing is not really going to be advantageous for you in the long run, because you're thinking about the short scheme of things. You got to sometimes think of long term, and that's like a long term investment, right? And you're not stuck. It's not like, okay, you say you're in a commitment, but you can still sell the house. You can rent the house out. You can't do that if you are renting a townhouse. Now, you could sublease if they allow you to do that, but that security deposit money that you put up, you're not getting that back unless you might get it if you didn't tear the place up. But a lot of those application fees and all that other stuff, you're not getting that money back, y'all. A lot of this stuff, they're not getting it back. All that money they spent in rent, $2,000 a year. Normal rent right now, y'all, is about $2,000 and up for a house, for a 3 bedroom house. 2,000 and up. That's what people are paying. And some people are paying more. And how do I know? Because I've taken these people to look at these houses. And I'm thinking to myself, what in the world? Why wouldn't y'all, purchase? So sometimes people can't purchase right now because their credit is messed up. And credit is very easy to get up if you have discipline, have self discipline. If you are out buying Jordans for your children, that is not necessary. These children can't live in those Jordans. And if you're out buying liquor at the ABC store, that could be money going into your savings account. If you're going and buying hair weave, $400, $500 hair weave, that's money that could be going into a house. You have to know how to cut back. And a lot of people just don't practice self discipline sometimes. And this is why they're stuck in that cyclical cycle of renting. And what happens is then they call the realtor and they're like, "Oh, my rent is going up." And they start complaining about the landlord and what they're not fixing and what they're not doing, right? Well, I need to get out of here. And then they move somewhere else, or the rent is increasing. It went up another $100. That's what landlords do unless you have a really good relationship with that landlord and they like you and they want to keep you there. But like if you're dealing with private landlords, that's a different thing. But like if you're in an apartment complex, most of the time they're going to raise that rent. If it's $50 the next year, $100 the next year, and I've heard even more than that. They're just getting greedy out here, y'all. San Antonio is full of veterans. They love their vets. Okay, that's good. So I just feel like especially melanated people need to do more due diligence at acquiring home ownership. It is nothing to be fearful of. It's nothing to be scared of. It's just something that you have to normalize. Like normalize, when they college has been a big thing, like normalize going to college, normalize owning a business, normalize starting a business, normalize having better education, normalize going over homework with your children. All of these things should be normal because I see so many people in the other ethnic groups, home ownership is normalized for them. Okay, and they think nothing of it. And they're not fearful of it and they're not scared. But it's like melanated people are fearful and scared of owning a home. And I just don't understand the mindset of that, y'all. And it's almost like it's passed down from generation to generation. Like, oh, if they know that one of their family members is about to purchase a house, a lot of them have never owned a home and will try to talk that person out of doing it, right? You shouldn't do that. That's not a good idea. I've even had people tell me that they want to do this in secret. Don't let anybody. I don't even want my mama to know what I'm doing because they're so fearful that that person is going to try to talk them out of it. That is very sad, y'all. And people got to stop doing that type of stuff. That's sabotaging somebody's dream. And really, for them to have enacted the Housing Act of 1968, all melanated people should be taking advantage of this right now. It should not be something that you're fearful of, nervous about, or scared. It's because you don't research, you don't do your homework, and you keep listening to people that didn't do their due diligence when they purchased. Um, it's not that hard. It's very easy to get into a house. And then also too, like I said, get a home warranty, get your inspections, get an appraisal done. Because people say, oh, well, what if I over pay for the house? First of all, if you have a licensed realtor that does a comparable market analysis for you, I don't see how you would overpay for the house, because that comparable market analysis is going to tell you what that house should go for in that neighborhood, right? And so they're going to tell you this is the price range that I would offer for this house. Then you're also going to have an appraisal done. The appraisal comes out there during your due diligence process, and they're going to let you know what that house appraises for. Now, there could be an appraisal gap If that house doesn't meet that appraisal gap, now you have to have negotiations with the seller's agent to see if they'll, come down on the price of the home, or what can y'all do to make this deal go through. More than likely, that seller's agent and those sellers are going to want to work with you because they want their house sold. So it's no reason to be fearful, you all. He said home ownership is the start of financial freedom. It is. So much info out here, don't know what's real, what's not, and to take any loss when you don't know will scare you. Yes, yes, Diamond Fields. And I think we want to win more than we lose. Yes. Do you have to pay brokerage desk fee? No, I don't have to pay desk fees with my firm. Now you can check with other firms because some firms charge $85 to $100 a month, up to I think $150 a month. But I don't pay desk fees. I pay an administration fee for any like transaction fees, and then they also have a split. And then sometimes they'll let you work your split up until you get to 100%. So they might start you at 70, then you go to 80, then you go to 90. So that means you get 90% of your commission, and then the brokerage gets 10%. But yeah, Diamond, I definitely understand what you're saying. It can be a scary thing because people are misinformed and they don't really know what's going on in the transaction. That's why I post a lot of videos on my real estate channel and on my platforms. I have a platform for TikTok. I have another one. Hold on, let me turn the air conditioner on. I'm hot, y'all. And I think I don't want the phone to hold on, y'all. Conditioner on. I'm hot. It's 71 degrees, but it's hot in this vehicle. But I think people are just, not aware of how easy it is to get into a house, how easy it is to stay in your house. That's another thing I want to point out to y'all. Late. If you don't pay by the 5th, I think they charge you late fees, if I'm not mistaken. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Hold on. Yes, I'm lagging. Hold on, y'all. It's still trying to connect y'all. It's still trying to connect y'all. All right. Yeah, y'all see me sweating? It's too hot. Hopefully this is, I can't tell. But y'all let me know. Can y'all hear me okay? The AC made interference. I don't think it was the air conditioner. I think it was the fact that my Bluetooth connected to the vehicle, so it's picking up from there. But just what I want to tell y'all is it's like hard to get out of your house. So this is another thing people don't understand either. Um, yeah, when you're in a rental and you're late, usually the rent is due on the 5th. If you don't pay by the 5th, they charge you late fees. I think after 14 days, I don't know. Is it 30 days they take you to court or 14 days? I'm not sure. They will take you to court. You don't really go through that when you own a house. So if you have a house and you said this is like school for me, you love learning. If you're in a house and you can't pay, right? Say something comes up that month, you get injured. You like right now they have the government shutdown, right? They know that people are going through this government shutdown. Some people are not getting a paycheck. What you is you call your mortgage company, you let them know what's going on. What that mortgage company is going to do for you, they're going to work with you. They're going to say, okay, that's fine. If you meet certain requirements, like say you got injured on your job, you're waiting on a paycheck, or something tragic comes up, they can put you on a deferment plan. That means that you can forego making your mortgage payments up to 6 months. Okay? Within that time frame, you don't have to make that mortgage payment. What they're going to do is say, we're going to put your mortgage payments on hold until you get yourself back together again. Then we will resume your mortgage payments in however many months. It doesn't have to be 6 months. It could be 3 months, 4 months, 5, whatever you need to get back on track. Okay? They also have other programs out there for you that can help pay your mortgage for you. So people don't know this, but depending on where you live in your state, they actually have, and in your city, they actually have mortgage assistance programs for people out there that are having issues paying the mortgage. So I don't want y'all to think that, oh, as soon as I don't make my payment, they're going to take my house. It's not. It doesn't work that easily. It's not going to work that way, y'all. And actually, the banks don't want to come take your house because do you know that what all they have to go through? They have to go through
foreclosure or a short sale. A short sale takes longer usually than a foreclosure. That's a very lengthy process. And they have to go through a lot. A lot of people vandalize houses that are in foreclosure because they don't want to leave out. So then they have to pour money back into going in there and trying to fix the house up, finding someone that wants to purchase the home. So it's not as easy as they make it seem. Um, Once your house is paid off, and people say that, okay, you never own your home because you have to pay real estate taxes, property taxes, which is true. You have to pay property taxes on your land. You have to pay real estate taxes, y'all. Usually in your mortgage payment, the real estate taxes are broken down in your mortgage payment. So in your mortgage payment, you have something called principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. On your house, you have to have homeowners insurance as long as you're financing that home. As long as you're making mortgage payments on that home, you need to have homeowners insurance on that house, okay? Because why is that? It's the same thing as with your car. When you purchase a car, that lender is going to tell you now you have to have full coverage because you're getting a loan from us. So we have a financial interest in that investment. So you need to have full coverage in case something happens to the car, you can get it fixed. Same thing with your house. You have to have homeowners insurance, and usually that is included in your mortgage payment, okay? There is a difference between homeowners insurance and, oh, I just saw somebody riding past and we're looking over here. There's a difference between homeowners insurance and mortgage insurance, okay? Those are two different things. Homeowners insurance and mortgage insurance are two separate things. Homeowners insurance is if something happens to your dwelling, a fire, it gets struck by lightning, stuff like that. Okay? Also, too, understand that say someone breaks in your car and steals like your laptop or your gun or whatever you have in your car, that is covered by your homeowner's insurance. It's not covered by your car insurance. It's covered by homeowner's insurance. Even though they took the items out of your car or whatever, it's called personal property. That is covered under your homeowner's insurance, y'all. Or if you have renter's insurance might cover those things because it's personal items in your vehicle. A lot of people get that misconstrued because I used to do auto insurance claims, right? I handle auto insurance claims. So people that got injured, I had to settle these things with the attorneys. All right. So mortgage insurance, let me tell you what that is. It's kind of like life insurance. So say something happens to you and you cannot pay your mortgage insurance, a death. So definitely if something happens to you and you get taken off the earth, the mortgage insurance will kick in. It will pay off your mortgage. So if you have children or if you have other people living in the home, they don't have to worry about how to try to pay this mortgage every single month because you could have been the breadwinner. You could have been the main source of paying, that house. Well, if you have mortgage insurance, that's what that is for. That is like if someone dies and they were the breadwinner of the house, you basically sign up who you want to be the beneficiary. The beneficiary is then going to take on that house, and then that mortgage insurance is going to pay off that loan for that house, so that everybody else that's still around and still living, they don't have to worry about trying to pay the mortgage, y'all, because that can be stressful for people if they're not making the income. And so you can get different tiers of mortgage insurance. You can get a lower tier, which will pay off like a certain percentage of the house. You can get a middle tier, and they pay off another percentage of the house. And you can get a higher tier of mortgage insurance, and they pay off the entire mortgage balance of the loan. The higher the tier, the more they'll pay. So if you want them to pay off the entire balance, that mortgage insurance premium is going to be higher. This is paid separately. This is paid outside of your house payment, all right? This is not included in your mortgage payment. You have to obtain this coverage outside of that, all right? So people are not aware of that, but this does happen and this does exist. Some people get life insurance, and they use life insurance policies to pay off houses as well. So make sure you're paying life insurance every month on your relatives, friends, family members, whoever, All you need is their social security number, their name, and date of birth. That's it. That's all you need to take out a life insurance policy on someone. It's very good to have, y'all, because I always say GoFundMe is not a life insurance policy. So those are ways that you can protect the investment of your house or your home, y'all. So I hope this has been useful and beneficial information for all of you out there. Flood insurance is another thing, too, that we didn't talk about, but I'll touch on it very briefly. Flood insurance is not going to be applicable to all homes. They're going to look at the flood maps. Usually your lender will let you know if this is something you need to purchase. And they will recommend some insurance, carriers that cover flood insurance. But it is at your disposal to go with whatever company that you wish and that you choose to have. But they'll look at the flood maps and they'll see, is your home located in a flood zone? If your home is located in a flood zone, then it's going to be recommended that you obtain flood insurance for the house. Otherwise, it may not be covered. Diamond Fields, you said yes, definitely. Thank you. You're very welcome. So that's another thing, because I know that it can be tricky when it comes to insurance, and people don't really understand how that works. So regular homeowners insurance, like I said, is going to be included in the mortgage payment more than likely, and that's going to include like if an act of nature happens to the house, hurricanes, tornadoes, fires, lightning struck your house. God forbid. We're hoping this never happens, because it can be very tricky dealing with the insurance companies. Now, also pay attention to your deductibles. Some of these deductibles have like a $1,000 deductible. So say somebody came into your home. Oh, my home got vandalized. Oh, somebody broke in. They stole personal effects from my home. I had a jewelry collection. I had a gun collection. Well, y'all, it is good practice to keep inventory of everything you have in your house. Do video footage. Have it saved somewhere. Have it in a safe, just somewhere safe. So just about what the cost of everything in your house is, all your personal items. How much total do you think you have in your house? So when you report these things to the insurance company, you can be abreast on what things, got damaged, because they're going to take depreciation costs on those items. So you're not going to get the full 100% value of what you paid for your laptops and your, electronics. They're going to take depreciation costs on those things if they cut you a check. Also, you'll probably have a deductible. So whatever these things were, minus your deductible, okay? Just like car insurance. Whatever the damage is, minus your deductible. You said this is the best live stream ever for me. Thank you. It is. So just take these things into consideration, because sometimes people are not aware of that either. But it's very important just to know and understand how these things work. And like I said, I did health insurance for 12 years. I did auto insurance for about 8 years, if not a little bit longer. So I'm very well abreast on insurance. Homeowners insurance is not too different from auto insurance. It pretty much works the same way. Life insurance, you don't pay a deductible for life insurance. You have to file a claim if someone passes away or transitions. I also want to tell y'all there's also a critical illness insurance that you can purchase. So a critical illness insurance is if you get a diagnosis that's a critical illness such as cancer. You can also have a policy for yourself if you develop a disease that they classify as a critical illness. What they do is they will automatically cut you a check for up to $20,000 or whatever, type of policy you get. They'll cut you a check automatically, so that you're not, having to pay, whatever bills you have to pay that comes with that critical illness, and, you might have to take time out of work. They'll help mitigate those costs for you. So I think it's very good that people know that these things are out there. The younger you are, the better it is to obtain life insurance. The younger you are, the better it is to hurry up and get that insurance, and please don't let it lapse. I don't care. Fight tooth and nail to keep your life insurance premium policies going on yourself, your relatives, and family members, y'all. Please get this, even for your newborns, for your children. Accidents happen, and it's not like you're trying to cash in on family members and relatives, but it's just that you want to make life easier with the transitioning of your loved ones. You want to make sure if you believe in burials or if they want to get cremated, you have the funds to do this. You don't want to be out here struggling with the family to try to come up with GoFundMe's and all this stuff because that's a very critical time, y'all. You shouldn't have to go through that. And I know personally one of my friends lost his mother at the age of 28 years old, and they went through that, and he shouldn't have had to go through that, y'all. He said, this is all new information for my brain. It's very critical information that we all should know about, and it's very critical information that we all should partake in practice. So I know that the newest iPhone is, out, the iPhone 17. That stuff is not as important as these insurance policies, y'all. Life insurance policies, mortgage insurance, okay? Let them draft it out of your bank account every month if you can. And remember, life insurance, mortgage insurance, homeowners insurance, and also car insurance if you have a car. They turn around looking, are they coming over here? Make sure you keep, insurance on your vehicle. I know a lot of times people like to take coverage off and then they get into an accident and then they don't have full coverage. Well, what if it was your fault? Your car is not covered. You're out of transportation, right? People always try to find a way to mitigate expenses, but for one, I'm not an advocate of cutting insurance, okay? I think insurance should be put on your life, if not anything else. Put insurance on you, life insurance, number one, okay? What is the best life insurance for older folks that are in their 70s? I actually have someone that you can reach out to if you're really, really interested. You can DM me at BGAB_TV. That is BGAB_TV. I don't know what state you're in, but they have licenses in different states to sell life insurance. So depending on what state you're in, that agent has to be licensed to sell life insurance in your particular state. The same thing with auto insurance. So like when I was an auto insurance agent, I had to be licensed in every state that I was operating in, okay? That was Florida, West Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina. I had to have a license to operate in those places. And then also, as a realtor, you have to have a license for every state that you practice in, just kind of like a doctor and an attorney, y'all. So, yeah, I don't know, but I did study and I was going to obtain my life insurance certification. I was going to be a life insurance agent because one thing we do know is not everybody can qualify for a house, but everybody needs life insurance. But y'all, my brain got so overwhelmed with the information. Y'all, it was so much useful information that I gained when I was studying. You'll be surprised the different policies that are out there for you. So please don't forego this insurance. There's something out there that is affordable for you, and don't let it lapse. My father lost what he had for years, and I have to start over. Oh, so your father lost what he had, and you have to start over? Okay, so like I said, hit me up at BJB_TV, Diamond Fields. Just let me know who you are, and let me know what state you're in, and I probably can get you connected to someone that might be able to point you in the right direction. I wish I had my life insurance license, y'all, and I could sell it, but because I'm dealing with real estate right now, I just felt like it was overwhelming and it was too much for my brain to take in because you have to pass these exams. I have a colleague in the office. She went and she took hers and she passed her exam. I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her. Maybe one day, y'all, but it's a lot of information to know. You have to know the different policies. It's just a lot. It's a lot. I'd rather be one of those. You can actually be like a referral agent. So like if I refer someone, then I can get a check for that. Or not really a check. I can receive like compensation for that by referring someone. So I'd just rather be a referral agent for now. Link for me one more time. So it's BGAB_TV on Instagram. Let me see if I can type it here. Can I type, y'all? I don't know if I can type it. Well, I'm going to start a poll. Was this information useful? Yes or no? I'm so hungry, y'all. Okay. And then I'm going to hit done, add option. I'm going to say not sure. All right. And then return. Y'all fill up my poll if you don't mind. I'd love to see what the feedback is. Can y'all see my poll? You don't have Instagram? Oh, you don't have Instagram. Okay. Well, you can follow me on TikTok. That is Brown Girls Are Beautiful on TikTok. I think it's Brown Girls Are Beautiful on TikTok. Look me up there, or it might be BGAB Clothing on TikTok. So you can go there. Oh, you say yes? Okay. So you can find me there as well. But I keep my real estate separate from my other platforms. Real estate is separate because we have a lot of just sneaky, evil trolls and stuff that want to try to do stuff, and I don't have time for that. You don't have TikTok? Well, Lonesome Dove, I don't know what to tell you. I'm on many different platforms. So I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on YouTube. I also have Twitter. I don't really use it like that. I'm trying to think. Those are the main things that I have. But I'm going to get an Insta just for education. You bringing? I mean, I use them for business purposes. I don't see the point of being on the platforms just for personal use. I also have a Facebook, which I'm not going to give that out. I have multiple Facebook pages, but I'm not giving that out because I don't want people coming over there with their nonsense and negativity. I use that for business purposes as well. So when we became licensed and we joined the firm, they told us that they wanted us to have social media. I didn't want social media, but they were like, you need to have it. They were like, you need to have a YouTube channel and all this stuff. And yeah, I was like, I don't think that's necessary. Honestly, I found one of my clients off of Facebook, y'all. The guy that I told you that uses VA loan, he was one of my clients off of Facebook. Mark Brody said, hello, hope everything is going well with you. I am trying to stay cool in this air conditioning, y'all. I'm trying to stay cool out here. And I'm hungry, Mark. DoorDash me some food, y'all. I'm so freaking hungry. So I got to think about what I want to eat when I leave here. And I hope I'm not trying to develop like any type of sickness because I don't know, my throat been feeling funny and I don't feel all the way right. And I hope it's not due to those like kindergartners and first graders that I've been working with. You said that's what people tell me that I need more social media to expand my business. You do. It's a lot for me. Well, you're going to have to get used to it. Your hair looks amazing. Thank you. I need to wash this hair. I was going to wash it, but I didn't have time. So hopefully I have time later this evening to wash my hair, y'all. I need to spend some time out in the sun, in nature, at the park somewhere, y'all, today. I've just been so busy this week. But I want something good to eat. Oh, yeah, I want something healthy. And it's hard being on a healthy diet, especially when you're busy, because eating healthy requires you to like think about what you want to eat, and you have to prepare these meals. And we need to start going to these like ethnic stores that sell all the healthy stuff. And that's time consuming to do all of that type of stuff. My Instagram is BGAB_TV. It's BGAB_TV, y'all. And then also you can find me on TikTok. That's BGAB Clothing or either Brown Girls Are Beautiful, one or the other. I can't remember right now off the top of my head. So I also use colloidal silver, and I want to spray that in the back of my throat as well. And I'm going to get me some herbal tea. I think that's going to help. Now we just have to combat all of these germs out here, because being around children and being around like a bunch of people, I'm not used to that. I was used to working from home, so I was just around myself, being in my own environment, not having to be around a bunch of other people, maybe your relatives and stuff, but not actually around a bunch of y'all. No, that's the neighbor. I thought somebody was coming. You're cooking eggs and bacon right now? I'm not gonna lie. Ooh, eggs and swine. You partakers of the porkers. 11. Oh, so what time is it where you are? Because it's 12:34 here, bro. I was cooking too. Oh, y'all didn't send me a plate. I don't eat the bacon, and I don't really deal with eggs, y'all. What else y'all got for me? Some avocados. I need to start eating more avocados. It has a lot of protein in it. I had avocados the other day, y'all, with tomatoes, like an avocado sandwich. tomatoes. It did have egg, which I shouldn't have eaten, and cheese, which I'm not supposed to have dairy or eggs. So I'm parking. Forgive me. No, you're good. Look, your parking is more important. That's why I kept asking for the Instagram. Hands was greasy from burgers. Uh-oh. Are those veggie burgers? What type of burgers you got? Steak and eggs. Oh man, I can't partake of the steak. I don't eat steak either. I don't eat that. But, sounds like y'all got some good food over there. I hope you enjoy your food. Good for y'all. I'm glad y'all are having a nice hearty meal that you can enjoy on this Sunday. You eat avocado in your burger sometimes if you're in the creamy mood. I know, you got to get used to the texture. But I like veggie burgers too, y'all. I really enjoy veggie burgers, but now I am trying to stay away from bread because bread is no good. Es ist nicht gut. Okay, that means it's not good. It's not good for our health. It's not good for me. Wheat and grains. I didn't know that certain things that we think are healthy are not as healthy as we thought it was. I was actually watching a video by Dr. Bobby Price, the melanated doctor that I showed y'all the other day, and he was just talking about how bad bread is for us. So even though I typically stay away from white breads when I can, but also the multi-grain breads, they're no better, and they have yeast in them. Yeast is not good for us. So now I'm just gonna have to deal with the spinach wrap or the tomato basil wraps. Let me turn this air conditioner down some. Y'all, this open house started at 10 a.m. Now, be honest, if y'all can tell me, how many of y'all are coming on a Sunday morning to an open house that starts at 10 a.m.? Raise your hands if you're coming to a house at 10 a.m. I could see if they said 11 to 1, but 10 o'clock, I don't believe that anybody's coming to an open house at 10 a.m., y'all. But yet and still, that's what they wanted to do. So sometimes, no matter what you say, people going to do what they want to do, right? That's another thing about clients. Like, no matter what advice you give them, even if it makes sense, they're going to do what they want to do, y'all. You said whatever I'm doing or eating has been working. Thank you. I hope it does work, y'all. I hope it does work. You said, yeah, grains is in my downfall. There's glyphosate in grain now from Monsanto, making the seeds resistant to Roundup because it has that Roundup product in it. Yeah, so even like Honey Nut Cheerios, which is something that I used to love, I stopped buying those because of the Roundup that they use for the cereal. And even in oatmeal, y'all, it's just so much that Monsanto uses that Roundup in. And they had a lawsuit. There was a guy that actually developed cancer from all of that. I watched the Netflix special. It was a documentary. He ended up winning his lawsuit, but he only had like 4 months to live. So what good is all of those millions of dollars if he's not going to be there to enjoy it? So I guess it gets passed down to his predecessors. It's sad. Depends, but nah, I don't even want to get up at 8 for work. 10 not happening. Diamond Fields, I don't blame you. I don't, because I'm contemplating about canceling tomorrow. I'm supposed to work with kindergarten, and they want me to be there at 7:30 a.m. I think I might cancel because my immune system comes first. If my body doesn't feel like it needs to get up that early, I'm not going to put myself through that. And I really wish more of us would start paying attention more to our bodies. And unfortunately, we're on these like cyclical schedules that don't allow for us to like take care of ourselves, y'all. And we really need to put ourselves first. Our health comes first more than anything. You said Hodgkin lymphoma, food tastes differently now. Hit that like button. If you haven't, thank you, Girl Dad Cooking Up Deliciousness. Are you a chef, Girl Dad? Also, too, what I wanted to say is our immune system is highly impacted by how much rest and sleep we get. That's when our body, as you all know, does its regeneration. The cells, are doing their repair work, and, cells are doing what they need to do to regenerate. Every 30 days, our cells goes into a regenerative state. So depending on what we've been eating, that's what they're using to help these cells. So we need to get as much nutrients as we can in our diets. That's going to come from definitely the sunlight as much as possible. That's why I kind of don't believe in keeping children in school all these 8 hours. They only get 30 minutes of sunlight sometimes when they get to come out for recess. It's kind of like jail, y'all, if you think about it. Even like at work, y'all know y'all get like a 30-minute lunch break. Some jobs will give you an hour, but you're inside of an enclosed office setting. Unless you sit by the window, which I used to sit by the window, but like some people are not getting enough sunlight into their bodies. And especially from melanated people, it's very crucial that we get sunlight because of the natural sun blockers that we have in our melanin to protect us from the sun. We actually need even more sunlight. And they have told us to stay out of the sunlight. This is why in the spring and the summertime we thrive, y'all. And if you notice, when spring and summertime comes, we thrive a lot more. Keep it respectful and PG 13 in the comments, everyone. Yes, thank you for that. I appreciate that, y'all. Yeah, I need to wash my hair. Oh my goodness, y'all. Yeah, definitely need to wash my hair again. I need to get my ends trimmed and everything. It's a lot of work, but staying healthy is worth it. You just really have to be dedicated to it. Even when I go to the grocery store, I read the labels. I'm looking at what I purchased, and I had an addiction to Snickers bars. You think I'm lying to you, but like I've been addicted to Snickers for a very long time. When I say addiction, it's like I had to have one every day. When I was in high school, it was mandatory that I go to the vending machine and have a Snickers bar. Thank you so much. She said my hair is always on point. Yes, I just do it personally now. Okay, you do it personally. So I really think that if we can grow gardens, which I know that that's something that I've been talking about for a while, but this is going to happen because I'm speaking it into existence. So I don't know if you're aware of what's been going on with the farmers across the United States, but the farmers are struggling out here because of the lack of funding from Trump. I was listening to something earlier where it said that Trump has sent millions of dollars to Argentina, to the farmers out there, because he has a very close friendship with their president, from my understanding. So the farmers here in the United States are struggling with their farms. So you know what that's going to mean for us with our food supply and our resources? It's going to start affecting the grocery stores. And when you go and try to obtain produce, it could be a lack of it there. It could be, limiting on what we can buy off the shelves, y'all. So if we are able to start, go to local farms or, local places that grow food, I think that's going to be our best bet. I know people are so busy, sometimes it's hard to even get that implemented into your schedule because now we're in more of like a corporate America versus back, years ago. People stayed more at home to tend to the children, to educate the children, to make clothes, to grow their own food, to tend to the yard and the land. But now, as you can see, we've gotten out of that, and now we're more dependent on the system. Unfortunately, you said China stopped buying soy from Americans. That's exactly right. Snicker and I still have your teeth. I think that is a blessing. Yes, I used to eat at least a Snickers every single day, and I even had this situation going on up until adulthood not too long ago, y'all. And do you know that my mother said that when she was pregnant with me, she used to have a craving for Snickers, and she would wake my daddy up at 3 o'clock in the a.m. and tell him to go in the kitchen and get her some Snickers. She said, "You know why that girl likes Snickers so much?" I'm telling, and she told me the story several times. She would wake him up to go get a Snickers for her. And I love the little miniature ones. Those are like my all-time favorites. Fun size Snickers and the little miniature ones. But they used to keep those in the house for her because she used to have these cravings. And when she was pregnant with me, that's what she would eat. And I have grown to love Snickers, y'all. It's so interesting, isn't it? Y'all, we all have a divine connection with people that we don't even understand. So I don't know if y'all believe in like soulmates, twin flames, people that you are spiritually bound to or connected to that you've met in a past life. But I have someone that's similar to that, and they actually have a favorite thing, and their favorite candy bar is a Snickers as well. What is the likelihood of that? Yeah, this stuff is real. So Don't underestimate the power of spirituality, y'all. Americans buy a lot of beef from other countries. I still like Snickers. I love them, but I have to stay away from them because they're packed with sugar, y'all. And I'm really trying to control my sugar intake because sugar, um, it's not good for us. And sugar actually feeds all the bad things in our bodies, and it contributes to, cancer and stuff like that. Sugar is a big poison to us. It's a main culprit of a lot of things that goes on with our health. I believe in soulmates. They can be good and they can be karmic and they can be bad. All right. I just know that it can be a good and a bad thing. I have a friend right now that she deals with her twin flame, and she has many interesting stories about this individual, y'all. It can be an emotional roller coaster ride. So be careful with those. Be careful with those. We also have past lives and we have karmic energy. Addiction is USA best product. Well, you know how sugar got implemented into our food? It goes back to Hitler. So Hitler actually put sugar in the food of the people by waging, that was their way of waging war on the people. And he knew, they had done studies and psychological studies and everything. They knew that people would become addicted to sugar. So that's how they actually weaponized food against the people. And I, for one, know that this is very true because think about people having sugar cravings all the time, always wanting sugary treats and stuff like that. It's a craving. And yet, yes, you can have a bad soulmate. I met mine. They will ruin your lives. They will destroy you, Diamond. And I'm sorry that, you know, hopefully you had a good experience, but if you went through a bad experience, I hope that you never have to go through it again, all right? Because it can take a lot out of you. But I thank y'all for keeping me company all this time. I appreciate it, y'all. So sometimes what I will do is I will sit in the front of the house, like if they have a porch or a bench or a swing, and just like be outside on the front porch and get fresh air at the open houses too. You said you met yours too? Oh, you said you're glad you could keep me company too? Yeah, y'all. But hopefully y'all have a nice Sunday today. Hopefully the weather is nice wherever you are. We gotta enjoy all these days, every last moment, second. We have to enjoy all of it, y'all, because our time and our health and our family, what's good, little raccoon, are our most valuable assets, y'all. Really, truly, it is. They make us think all these trinkets outside of ourselves, and y'all, that's another thing. That's another thing. How long you've been a real estate agent? I was licensed um, in another state when the housing crash happened. I don't know if y'all remember that, but I was licensed back then, and then I got relicensed when I left there in 2020. I became licensed again in a different state. So yes, China. It's a microphone. Oh, you thought I was holding a rabbit's foot. It's a microphone with a dead cat. This is called a dead cat, and what this does is it protects the microphone against wind noise. So if I go outside and the wind is blowing, it soundproofs all of that wind from hitting the microphone. You said a rabbit's foot. I didn't know what he was talking about, y'all. That's so funny. Um, Church on Sunday, y'all. Church will be in session if I have the energy and strength later tonight, because I want to talk about these churches and why they are not properly educating their congregation, why they're not progressing more in communities other than what we've seen. We need to talk about these things because what is church doing for the people? Healthy or healthy, it's all in one pot. Good or bad, death is going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen, y'all. We don't know how, we don't know when, we don't know where. But all we can do is try to take preventative measures. So that's definitely true, y'all. That's why I say we just got to enjoy every second of our day as much as we can. Sometimes we don't go through the best things in life, y'all, but look, at least we were able to get up, open our eyes, walk, talk, see, hear, breathe, do all of these things on our own. Some people didn't get to make it, y'all. You said the idea is to prolong life. It's foolish to die before your time. Ecclesiastics. Okay. He backed it up with scripture. I think it's foolish to die before your time too. But I'm just thinking, like, if you die before your time, how do you know if you died before your time, or was that your time? You see what I'm saying? Was that your time, or did you die before your time? That's what I wonder, y'all. Because church ain't where it's at no more. Just got to have that relationship with the big homie. I believe that you have to have a relationship with the divine creator or creators, the author of this universe or multiverse, y'all. Because there could be more than one universe. My nephew was telling me about the multiverse when he was like 8 years old, and I was like, man, his brain is so immaculate. Y'all, children are very, very like progressive these days. The stuff that he would say at the age of 3, 4, and 5, I was like, he's been here before because there's no way that he knows about these things, and nobody had introduced him to this stuff. You're looking to buy a house, Little Raccoon? What state are you in? You can hit me up too if you're thinking about buying a house. And please go back through this live stream again because I think it could be beneficial for you. My life is full of betrayals and stuff, so I genuinely can't wait because I'm getting tired. I'm sorry, I'm being completely real. Well, one thing you have to do is stop speaking negativity into your life, Fox. I see that you speak negative over yourself a lot, and you have to stop doing that. People are always going to betray people. That's just the nature of the depravity of people. And I don't care what race they are. You're going to get betrayed, and these can be people that you have in your family. They're going to betray you. That's what they do. You're going to have to continue to grow, continue to get understanding of yourself, and become a stronger person. Sometimes life disappointments make you understand the strength that you have within yourself, and it's not fun. It's not easy. It's nobody wants to go through anything that's negative in life at all. You said children are the representative of God. You shall not enter, lest you have the heart of a child. That's Matthew. Okay, but definitely stop speaking negativity over yourself. All right. Yeah, my throat not feeling all the way right. I might have to cancel tomorrow. I can't work with those kindergartners, y'all. Because you know what they think? They think it's a daycare center. They think I'm a babysitter. I have to give the same speech every time. I'm not a daycare center. I'm not a daycare worker. I'm not a babysitter. And basically, you have to talk to these kindergartners like a drill sergeant. I don't feel like yelling at them. I don't have the energy and strength for that, y'all. So I am going to bask in my sunlight, eateth of my food, and drinketh of my fluids and water that I need, vitamin C, vitamin D, all that stuff, and try to strengthen my immune system. We have to attack it before it starts. He said, or is that John? I'm not sure, y'all. Not sure at all. Anyway, thank y'all so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to always walk in your divinity. Continue to celebrate yourself. You ever get sick from the kids at school? I got sick 3 times back to back from the children. It was horrific. That was earlier this year, y'all, back in April. When we had April spring break, all I could do for basically 1 to 2 weeks was lay in the freaking bed. Couldn't even get out and enjoy. And we had beautiful days. It was terrible. At night, I'd be fighting my tears and rage because how bad it is. Fox, you're going to really have to do something to make yourself feel better. I don't know what that is, but you're going to have to. All right? I have to sign out because I'm about to depart from y'all. So I will check in with y'all later. Thank you so much for the likes, shares, and you all stay blessed. I'll tune in with y'all later, okay? Have a good rest of your Sunday, y'all.